welcome to Luna's Kitchen. I am Luna. I am so excited to have you guys here because we're making one of my favorites. We're making the ever famous grilled cheese sandwich with creamy basil tomato soup. This is like one of my favorite recipes ever, and it's so appropriate for fall and winter weather. And I hope you guys recreate this because it's so worth it. Anyway, guys, let's jump right in. To get started, I'm going to roast my Campari tomatoes and garlic. You can use any kind of tomatoes you want, really. You can use cherry, Roma, plum, whatever kind of tomatoes, as long as it's a really ripe batch of tomatoes. So I'm just gonna add some salt, a little black pepper, drizzle some oil, and roast my tomatoes. By allowing your butter to brown slightly, it brings out a different flavor, like a really nice toasty flavor. And then I go ahead and add my onions. After I let my onions caramelize for a little bit, I'm gonna add the tomato paste. Go ahead and add in your roasted tomatoes along with your roasted garlic. Depending on how thick you want your soup to be, the consistency, you can either add in half a can or the whole can of stock. For this recipe, I'm using vegetable stock, but you can use chicken or vegetable stock. It's really about preference. And I go ahead and I add my basil right in. As your stock or broth already has sodium in it, be very mindful of the amount of salt that you are adding to your soup. And I also added some white pepper. You are also going to want to add a little bit of sugar to your soup to balance and counteract against the acidity of the tomatoes. You don't want to add too much sugar. You don't want it to be sweet. You just want to, again, balance the acidity. Don't forget to remove your bunch of basil before starting to blend. And you can do like me and use a handheld blender, or you can choose to pour the entire thing into a blender. Either way, guys, this soup is boiling hot. Be careful. And you want to blend for a few minutes. You want to make sure the consistency is really creamy, everything's blended, the garlic, tomatoes, everything. And then we're going to strain this soup twice. Depending how chunky you want it, I know that some people like it a little bit chunky. They don't strain it, which is fine, whatever you prefer. I like it to be super silky smooth, so I'm going to strain it twice. After blending your soup, if you find that it's a little bit too loose and you want it to be a little bit thicker, go ahead and add some flour or some cornstarch. Now, I'm not doing that for this recipe because I really didn't want my soup to be thick at all. And I just really wanted it to be smooth, which is why I'm straining it twice. And so the last thing that you do is add in your heavy cream. Like, this soup would not be what it is without the heavy cream. So add that. And lastly, you want to cover your soup, set it aside, and we're going to move on to make our grilled cheese sandwich. Now, when it comes to grilled cheese, it makes a world of difference depending what type of cheese and bread that you use. For my sandwich, I'm going to use a trio blend of cheese, which is going to be mozzarella, American cheddar, and a Jamaican cheddar cheese. And for my bread, I'm gonna go with a sourdough. I don't know if you guys heard this or not, but it also helps the type of skillet that you use for a grilled cheese sandwich. For this, I'm gonna be using a cast iron skillet. For this sandwich, I buttered both sides of my bread. It's really not necessary, just butter the outside layers of your bread, and that's going to allow it to be really crunchy and really crispy, which is what you want for grilled cheese. And you are going to pile up your cheese. I know that it's going to look like a lot of cheese, but when you're making grilled cheese, it's literally in the name, grilled cheese. So pile up the cheese. Guys, when you're making grilled cheese, keep your fire on low, especially if you're using a cast iron. Now, my cast iron gets really, really hot, and if you walk away from it, even if it's on low heat, whatever you have in your pot will burn. So keep an eye out. And I cover my grilled cheese for a couple of minutes, and this allows the cheese to melt. And the bottom of this bread is so golden brown and crunchy. Now, all the cheese hasn't melted yet. So now I'm gonna flip to the other side, cover it again for a couple of minutes, and allow the other side to crisp up as well. And that's it. My grilled cheese sandwich is all done. The bread is really crunchy on the outside, and the cheese is really melted and gooey on the inside, which is exactly what you want for a grilled cheese sandwich. And there you have it, guys. Dinner is served. Now, for this meal, I served a simple garden salad along with my creamy basil tomato soup, and everything came out super wonderful. The bread was crunchy on the outside, gooey and cheesy on the inside. Soup was so rich, creamy, smooth, just perfect. And for dessert, I served chocolate chip cookies. And if you guys want to try that recipe, I will include the link in the description box. And reach out to me if you have any questions or comments, and I will do my best to respond. Until next time, guys. Bye.